What's that, Sheena? Am I good with what?
6:30.
It's 6:29 on my clock.
6:30 on the
Just flip.
Just flip
All right,
to
Just
6:30.
flip.
Do you guys want to? Do you want to do a sound check real quick? Sheena and Sam are pinch hitting this evening when it comes to sound and audio. And all right, excellent, great. So we're good to go. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's now 6:30. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you could please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. There are no agenda adjustments for this meeting. And welcome to the RSU4 organizational meeting. It's an honor to be sitting with all of you this evening as we begin the 25-26 school year. Our first order of business will be to elect a chairperson for the board. And at this time, I will take nominations for school board chair.
I nominate Nicole Russell.
Do you accept the nomination? They're all on.
I do accept.
Are there any other nominations? All right, seeing none, nominations will now cease. So it's a roll call vote, ladies and gentlemen, so I will call on you one at a time. And if you are in favor of Nicole Russell being the chairperson for our board, you would just answer in the affirmative. All right? We'll start with you, Teresa. Yeah.
Yes.
Ravi? Sorry, I should be calling your names. Nicole?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
All right, it's unanimous. Yeah, right, exactly. That was short-lived. All right, congratulations, Nicole, on your election to school board chair. And now she's going to take over the meeting for the rest of the reorganization items. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Not too bad.
All
On
right.
this nice cool evening. All right, we're going to move on to 2.3, election of vice chairperson. Do I have nominations for the vice chair?
I nominate Christy Willett for vice chair.
There was a second there. That was Teresa. Thank you, Teresa.
Any other nominations? Actually, Christy, do you accept?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Usually I say no.
Usually she does say no.
I do usually say no.
Okay. No other nominations? Nominations will be closed. We're going to go ahead with the roll call vote. I'm going to start on this side. Scott Fife.
Yes.
Matt Early.
Yes.
Diane Whalen.
Yes.
Myself is a yes. Robbie Gately.
Yes.
Christy Olette.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I need an affirmative or no, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
And Teresa.
Yes.
All right, thank you. It is unanimous. Congratulations, Christy. What's that?
Can I stay here? I don't have to move over.
You can stay there.
We can switch places if you want.
I'm all set.
Okay.
And my mic is like finicky tonight. All right, moving on to our assignment of school board committees. I'm going to open the floor for any preferences that you may have on which committees you would like to participate in this year. Go ahead, Diane.
I will do curriculum and technology. And if you need me to, is this working? Yeah.
It is.
If you need me for personnel, because I've done lots of interviews this summer, I will definitely do that as well.
Okay, thank you. I think we do like that you're available for those. Thank you very much for that. Go ahead, Matt.
I would be interested in being on the finance and facilities again, as well as personnel policy.
Robbie, I saw you first. Sorry, Christy.
I'll be on facilities, finance and facilities, and negotiating team.
Go ahead, Christy.
You can put me on personnel and policy, and if you need me, CAI and tech.
Scott.
I guess I would stick with personnel policy, although I found it difficult to do the personnel piece just for time reasons. So I think I'd also throw my hat in for finance and facilities. My heart's with policy, but
Teresa.
CAI and technology. And are we supposed to pick a second one? Okay.
You don't have to, no.
And then we don't have Doug or Nancy
I'm guessing Doug's going to want to stay.
on finance.
Finance and
I would
facilities.
imagine he was chair last.
Yeah, that's what he was last year. Yep. We can put him down for right now.
And where did Nancy fill in for Laura? Was it CAI?
You said it was CAI and technology. Thank you.
What contracts are we negotiating this fiscal year?
So we have two right now. We and we'll get to it here in just a moment. But we have a petition to impact bargain with the Administrators Association, and then we'll be negotiating the teachers' contract later this year. Excuse me, professional assistants too. Yeah. Thank you, Sam.
So I usually stay off negotiations because I'm a member of MEA and AFM through the university, and I don't ever want it to look like a conflict of interest. So I'm not going to raise my hand unless you absolutely need me.
I mean, right now, I think we're okay. I mean, I don't know, Nicole, if you'll join us for that aspect of things, negotiations.
Yes, as much as possible with ample lead time.
Absolutely.
when do you normally do those? What time of day?
It's usually the evening, afternoon. Yeah. Because the last time when we negotiated the administrator's contract, it was you and Robbie that helped with that, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And we met, what, 4 to 6?
Yeah, something like
5
that.
to 6?
Yeah.
5 to 7, something.
That seemed good. Yeah.
Yeah, so Scott, it looks like we're going to need you for policy and personnel.
Okay.
Unless Doug doesn't want finance. And then we probably swap you out.
Whatever you need.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Teresa.
When are the next, like, for filling Nancy's position for Sabatis, when does that take place? Is it November?
Yes.
Mhm.
November.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. Papers are available right now.
Right now.
Right now, they're due Monday.
Yep, they do back Monday.
I haven't heard.
Me neither. I haven't heard.
Did she take out papers?
I'm not aware.
Not yet, not that I know of.
There's still time, Nancy.
That's awesome.
Still a few days to pick them up and collect.
That's great.
Okay, so I think we're good with,
Mhm.
we'll have Diane and Teresa and Nancy for CAI, Matt, Robbie, and Doug for finance and facilities. And we'll definitely keep you on board for negotiations, Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
And that leaves, what did I miss?
First,
Scott, I didn't even write you down.
I have it written down.
See, I told you. I warned you
What?
that I will rely on you.
You're fine. No worries.
Christy, PMP, right? Policy and personnel, and Scott. I'm sorry, say that again.
If you need me on CAI.
If I need you on. We have 3 for CAI, so we'll see, unless Nancy wants to switch. Do you normally only have the 2 for policy and personnel with Marco, because Katie was there, or you have a 3rd?
Uh,
Usually 3 board members and the superintendent.
Yeah, I have for policy and personnel is what we're talking about. I have Diane, Matt, Christy, and Scott.
Yeah, so Diane will have 2.
I can't do policy because they run the same night, but like I said, I can do personnel because I'm doing a lot of interviews now,
I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
okay?
I got you. No, that makes sense. Appreciate that. Thank you.
And is there anything else discussed during those meetings on personnel?
It depends. Like sometimes it depends
So-
on the agenda.
Okay, so personnel could kind of go with the other stuff as well if you need somebody.
Usually what happens with interviews is that it goes to the policy and personnel committee first, and if nobody from the committee can attend, then we open it up to the rest of the school board
Mm-hmm.
to attend.
Can I just run through it from my own notes? I'm sorry, Diane. Teresa, excuse me.
I did both last year, the CAI and the policy personnel. There was only like one conflicting date at the time, and looking at it this year, it looks like it doesn't conflict.
Okay, is that so? Okay,
I'll give you the
sounds
printout.
good.
It's all.
I have it.
I was gonna say it's
Yeah.
all right there in your packet.
I haven't had a chance to.
That's okay. No worries. Compare them all.
Compare.
Write them
yeah.
all down. No, you're good.
Memorize.
Right. It's all good. Just for my notes, can I make sure that I have it correct? So finance and facilities, I have Matt, Robbie, Scott, and Doug. Personnel and policy, we have Matt, Christy, and Scott with Diane as I'm going to say alternate, but you help out a lot with those interviews. So I do appreciate that, Diane. Thank you for that. And then CAI technology, Diane, Christy, Teresa, Nancy, if she continues with that. And then last but not least, we have negotiations, Robbie and Nicole. Is it accurate? People
Yes.
feeling okay with that? Great.
Okay. Moving on to consideration of the minutes. 3.1 to approve the minutes of the June 25th, 2025 Board of Directors meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Three point 2 to approve the minutes of the July 9th, 2025 public budget meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor? Moving on to public comment. I don't believe I see anybody here, but if there is. Okay, we will move on. Petitions and communications. We do have an item here this evening, official notification from RSU number 4, Administrators Association of intent to impact bargain.
No,
Or
no.
we don't have it.
I do have a copy of it here. If anybody's interested in seeing it, it's not a problem. Happy to give that to everybody.
It will be included in the minutes, but if you would.
If you would like to see it now, I have 5 copies. You guys can fight over it. No? Robbie? Yeah. Oh, you don't have to get up, Matt. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay.
You're good. I'm good.
Don't scare me like that. Like we thought we forgot something
No, no,
or
no,
missed
no,
something.
No, you're good.
All right, while you peruse that, we're going to go ahead and move on. 6, reports. It's our superintendent's report. So welcome, Marco, as our new superintendent. And your first, we had our public budget meeting, but now your first regular board meeting.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing me to take a few minutes here just regarding the most recent happenings in RSU4. And I'd like to take a minute just to acknowledge that the successes I report are not my own, but of the collaborative efforts of the incredible staff of RSU4. And so kind of have a quick bulleted list that I'll just kind of run through of the things that have been happening since we last met. We'll say in July at the budget meeting, but there's a lot that's been going on in preparation for our school year coming up. So as Nicole, you mentioned, I started my tenure as a superintendent at our district budget meeting, which was lots of fun, good learning experience right off the bat there. Had the opportunity to visit with each of the select boards in each of our towns and introduce myself and get to know some of our local leaders. I feel like those were really good, positive meetings to attend, some good questions. Just realizing that people sometimes need an invitation to come in and talk to us and be a part of what's going on in RSU4. So those were really well done. Felt that, like I said, they were really positive. We passed a budget, 337 yes to 204 no. Hired a director of technology, Stephanie Weber, who will be joining us beginning next week, which we're really excited about. Met with both professional and administrative collective bargaining units to kind of set some meetings and parameters around those about how we want to communicate with each other. Let's see, what else? Sheena worked really hard with the bus lease and moving our operating and our parts buses over to the new bus garage, which has been a huge undertaking, so we're excited about that. Justin worked on joining cohort 2 and collaborating with child development services for 3 and 4-year-olds, which we'll talk a little bit more about this evening. We moved all kinds of items this summer. Logistically, it was incredible. So, shout out to the entire team, Sam and Sean, in regards to making that happen, all of our custodial staff. This is a huge undertaking, just to pack everything up, move it, unpack it, or stage it, unpack it, around all kinds of other things that are going on in the schools. It went super smooth. And, I think if I'm reporting accurately that the majority of items are where they need to be and people have set up their classrooms in preparation for the start of the school year. We had a yard sale that was extremely successful, that we opened up to the teachers first, and then towns, nonprofit organizations, other educational institutions that came in, and that went really well, and then the public. And we'll get you a final tally on the number of, or the money that was collected during that sale. But it was a huge effort to make sure that things were staged and coded correctly, and communication that went out was a lot of work. Phil Tebow over at the middle school apparently is like a yard sale guru, and which I had no idea about, but that's his gig. He likes to do that kind of stuff. So he spent a lot of time putting all that, all the items together and then tagging things and making sure that they were ready for people to buy, which was great. So it went very well. Let's see. We've got some projects going on all around the district. The flooring project at Libby Tozier. Sean, if I'm correct, it's complete. That's correct, the flooring project at Libby Tozier. Except for one room. Yeah. And that's the ADA bathroom, the room that's connected to that, right? So we have an ADA project that's going on over there, expanding a bathroom. And so there's some tile that's associated with that bathroom that, obviously can't be done until the bathroom's done, which we hope it will be done next week and prior to the start of school. So that's huge. We had A-team retreats this summer with the entirety of the A-team, working on, getting things ready for the start of school, including a strategic plan framework, which I'll report to you guys on the next time we meet. We're just going to start that process. We do have a strategic plan in RSU4. It is on the website. It has not been reviewed since 2010 or 2014 for some of the pieces of it. And so we need to start taking a look at that again. Just as you guys know, a strategic plan can be extremely helpful in how we base our decisions or what we base our decisions on, you know. And so we started that work with the administrative team this summer, and I have dates to meet with different constituents, including teachers, custodial staff, central office staff. We'll be doing it with you guys, but essentially it's collecting a lot of information of what we're looking to help support our students with, and then how do we actually do it with coming up with action steps. And so my hopes is that as we go through the school year, we'll have a document towards the end of the year that will help guide us in putting together some action steps and how we move forward with what we do in RSU4 for the betterment of our students. So that'll be a lot of work, but we got started with that a little bit this summer. We had a number of communications go out with updates. Sam and I met with Harriman Associates to begin the SRRF application process for Libby Tozier. Specifically, we're thinking a roof project over there. We'll figure that out more as time goes on. And also Sam, Sean, and I met with the DOE regarding our major capital construction application. I think I sent out that information to you guys in one of my updates during the summer, just about where we ended up on the list, which was, you know, disappointing. At the same time, when we went in to talk with the DOE and kind of heard like where we were at, why we were at, and it was pretty amazing. Just it sounds like there are a fair amount of buildings in our state that are in disrepair and unsafe and not clean, and you know, and they're taking priority. Unfortunately, well, fortunately, they're taking priority, but we would like our building taken care of too, is what it comes down to. So we're kind of repositioning to that SRRF application to get that taken care of and start working on some projects. The nice thing about it, and I'll report on this too the next time, is then they're also contemplating putting this into the application process. Is you know, like the last thing we would want to do is tank a building just to be able to get, you know, state funding, right? Like that's not okay. In a lot of different ways, we want our kids to be safe, you know, in a building and healthy in a building. And so one of the things that they're taking into consideration is what we're using as far as our funds locally to support our buildings. So what's our maintenance budget look like, and how much of that is actually going to improvements projects? The nice thing about that is that can't hurt us in the process. So they put that right in there, that it's not going to be a detriment to our place in the lineup there if we start putting money into our buildings. So, you know, just something to be thinking about as we move forward. And then, you know, hiring has been strong this summer, and we are almost full, which includes our ed techs, which is pretty amazing. We haven't had this type of influx of applications in quite some time. And we do have a couple of positions, you know, just last minute things that have come up that are, you know, they're out of our control. There's not a whole lot we can do about it, but we have contingency plans in place to address, you know, any needs that we have. And I say that just if we're having to open school without a position being filled, you know, we've already put that in play. And I just want to thank the administrators for their hard work with interviews, and those of you guys that have helped out with that. It's a lot of time, you know, and there's a lot of things that are going on besides hiring people that need to get done. But that's obviously the priority, and I appreciate everyone's efforts in that. So overall, it's been an amazing few months, and I'd like to thank everybody for your support of the district. That's my report.
All right, thank you, Marco. Any questions? Go ahead, Robbie.
The road sign, where are we with those?
That's a great question, Robbie. Sean, do you mind speaking to the road signs? No, it's not on.
Not in the mic.
Oh, there it is.
Hear me now? Hear me now?
Yeah, you got it, Sean.
Tap on it. Can you hear me?
You
Yeah,
have to
oh
be
yeah.
you have to be
I can't
be
hear it,
friends
so
with our
That's
mics.
all right, bub. You got to get up close. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me now? I'll talk from right here, not move. Yeah. Yeah, the road signs, all the posts are in, all 8 of them. 4 of them are complete less electrical at the middle school and high school. And then the other 4 will be done at the Kerry Ricker and Libby Tozier tomorrow. And then electrical is starting to work on tomorrow. And then we got to do the programming on Friday. Yep.
It was brought up at the town meeting, collective meeting.
They put them in today.
Yeah.
I was there. Why, they were putting it in.
That's awesome. That's all. Yeah. So they were just curious about if they when they were going or whatever. Oh, that's good. That's good to know. I'm glad that they're asking about it. And thanks, Sean and Sam, obviously for helping and coordinate those things being picked up from Augusta, and then obviously putting them into play. Those will be helpful. Keep our kids safe. That's for sure.
Okay. Any other questions? All right. Moving on. Go ahead.
It was it was brought up at the selectmen's meeting last night, the crosswalk. The town employees, the workers for the town, the road crew,
Mhm.
they said there was something with the crosswalk because there's no sidewalks on each side. And they were saying that painted line, the painted crosswalk doesn't really mean nothing because there's no sidewalk on each side. So I was wondering after the meeting, I know a lot of places they'll put in like a speed bump to slow traffic down before they get to each side of the school entrance. Could, maybe that might be a way to slow traffic down in that area a little bit.
Are you speaking about
At
middle school?
Middle
Yeah.
school.
Okay. Ballpark Road.
'Cause
Yeah.
I know right at the crest of that hill, I know it was an issue when we actually put the school in, that our entrance, they really wanted it closer to the house, but we couldn't put it closer to the house. So we had to move it down a little bit. And the state said we're at the very maximum for sight line at that one spot.
Got it. Got it. We can definitely look into it. I mean,
Yeah.
see what's
I was
capable.
just thinking,
Yeah.
one on each side of the entrance, people would have to slow down in order to get through.
Mhm.
Right.
At the start of the school.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah.
Marco, can I get, about 2 weeks ago, I called the town manager and spoke to her about that because the DOE was out there painting lines on the main roads. So I stopped to talk to some of the gentlemen that were on there, talk about the sidewalk. And that sidewalk is painted by our town. The DOE does not have control. But the gentleman at the DOE says that is not a lawful crosswalk, because a crosswalk is supposed to start at a sidewalk and end at a sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
do not have a sidewalk.
Mhm.
So I called the town manager, and she was going over that day to see the road, but I suggested speed bumps before
Mhm.
and
Right.
lifting that, because when you're coming,
Yeah,
there are trees
Right.
there that are hiding the sign, and you cannot see that crosswalk. It is dangerous.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really dangerous. Because my daughter and her husband walk that street, and the cars go really fast. And so she was looking into that to see what they could
That's
do.
good. Maybe we can collaborate with them
And
on that.
with-
Yep.
With the new development going in down there.
Right.
We're possibly talking about more kids
Mhm.
walking.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. I appreciate the feedback,
I've
you
been
guys.
doing
Thank
that
you.
for about 5 years now,
Yeah.
talking about that. So finally,
That's good.
something's
Thank
getting
you.
done.
Yeah, appreciate that, Diane. Yeah, thanks, Robbie.
Yeah.
We'll make note of it, right, Sean? Thanks.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, for real this time. Justin had gotten up before. So we do have a director's report this evening with Justin Kelleher, our Director of Special Services, about Child Development Services.
Good to go. So as Marco and the document that is up on the screen there is being passed around. So as Marco noted, this summer we started some conversations with CDS about joining cohort 2 for the CDS transition. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight and then answer any questions you guys might have. So per state statute in 2024, school districts are now required to take over special education services for all 3 and 4-year-olds by the 27-28 school year. Historically, these have been run. The services have been provided by Child Development Services. As Marco and I learned in a meeting yesterday, Maine is actually the last state in the nation to take on 3 and 4-year-olds. So this has been a conversation that's really been going on for around 30 years. So CDS really can't ensure that special ed services are met for 4-year-olds These students go with unmet needs, and they come into kindergarten without receiving the support that they need to make progress. So by joining cohort 2, we have the option to just start with 4-year-olds while working on a more strategic approach to take on the 3-year-olds in the 26-27 school year. And just to give you a little snapshot right now, there's 16 students in the RSU4 catchment area, 16 4-year-olds, excuse me, along with 2 students that are in referral and child find, so they're going through the evaluation process. 7 students are identified with speech. We have 5 students identified with autism, 3 students with another health impairment, typically that's ADHD, and then 1 student who's deaf and hard of hearing. So programming options we'd be looking at for the 4-year-olds would be using our current pre-K classrooms and staffing those with a special education teacher and some ed techs to support students' needs in those classrooms. We also have 4 students out of those 16 that are currently placed in specialized programs, and they would remain in those programs, and that would be fully funded by the main DOE. And we'd also look at related services, speech, OT, physical therapy. So some of the benefits, it's fully funded. There's quarterly payments made, and it's based on the number of students, so the number of 4-year-olds in our case, and we'd look to receive between $350,000 and $400,000, and if the needs change or grow, that they'd make an adjustment to that. So again, it's completely funded by the state. There's also some additional funding this year that may be only available this year for our pre-K classroom. So we met with a representative from the Maine Department of Education who came down and took a look at our pre-K room, and it's kind of funny, a little aside, the pre-K teacher happened to be there that day, and it was like Christmas for her as she was going through a list of all the things that she could potentially purchase for that classroom that would support the special education students that would be in the pre-K, but also just the pre-K in general. So again, RSU4 overseeing the 4-year-olds in 25, 26, and then adding the 3-year-olds 26, 27 really gives us the strategic and gradual approach to building the early childhood support for students with disabilities. Joining cohort 2, the Maine Department of Education provides training monthly, and there's support calls, and there's a group of districts that can collaborate with and have discussions around what they're thinking for the 3-year-olds or how they're handling the 4-year-olds. So there's a good opportunity there. And the last 2 really focus on, these are, and Marco and I have talked about, these are all our kids, so getting to know the students earlier, I think, is a benefit. So students with behavior and academic needs in the pre-K, we can really get to know what their needs are before they hit kindergarten, shape those behaviors, help them with the skills they need so they're more prepared for kindergarten. And it also gives us an opportunity to develop positive relationships with the students and their families earlier. Before that, in the past, it's just a IEP meeting before school starts, and that's the first time you have a conversation with these families. So it's really the right thing to do overall. So staffing needs, and again, these are fully funded. Initially, we would think we would need an early childhood special education teacher and coordinator. They would, provide direct instruction to students, help us plan for the 3-year-olds, run IEP meetings, coordinate services with the related service providers. Lots going on there. We would need some ed techs to support our students in the pre-K classrooms. And then as far as speech, OT, PT, we would contract with some folks to provide those services to our 4-year-olds. So that's what I got. Any questions?
Where are we going to put them, potentially?
Yeah, so that's a good question. We looking at the numbers, we certainly can have some of the students attend our current pre-K program. As far as the students are in specialized programs, again, we would have them still continue to attend those. And we've talked, a little bit about, do we want to coordinate with maybe some other districts to develop some specialized programming? Do we want to look at developing our own if we have a number of kids? I mean, there's a lot of different options, and I think joining the cohort gives us, the opportunity to see what other districts around us are doing.
I have big thoughts on this. So do you know of the 16 that are identified, are any of them enrolled currently in our pre-K program?
Off the top of my head, I want to say 3, but
3 out
don't
of
quote
this.
me on that
Okay.
yet. Yep.
Also, do we know, has the state given us any sort of indication of when this funding is going to expire?
We kind of were waiting for that question. Yeah,
Yep.
happy
And
to
then
really-
the
yeah.
other question is there so here's the deal, like these kids need the services. Watching kind of what's been happening in CDS and for preschool, specialized preschool programs in our area doesn't give families a lot of option with Sandcastle closing. Sandcastle pretty much absorbed the majority of these kids kind of in our catchment. These needs aren't going to go away when they hit kindergarten. So great, they're giving us $350,000 to $400,000 for pre-K, but that means when they're kindergarten, that dollar figure comes to us as the district. So is there support? Are there talks about support moving forward? Because we have a hard time with our budget as it is. So I'm just asking those questions.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I guess first thing I'd just say to that, they're great questions. You know, they're really honestly, and Marco, you could jump into this. Is no concern whatsoever about them continuing to fund 3 and 4 year olds because they've been doing it forever with CDS, so they're going to use that funding. As far as the funding for kindergarten, you know, I would hope that when we get this up and running, we're going to be able to help students be more prepared for kindergarten and really to be able to absorb them in our current programs much better than we maybe have done in the past. But I don't think there's any dollar figure to go with that, but just think they'll be more prepared.
Right. Yeah, and I would say too, like you say, more prepared and potentially, you know, they could, you know, leave special education services because we're providing those services much earlier and much more intensively than we would have otherwise because we're relying on CDS to do that. And not that they're not trying to do a good job, it's just a different program, right? Yeah. The other aspect is I asked the same question to the commissioner.
Okay.
Christy, I was at a new superintendent's orientation. And the DOE showed up, right? And so the commissioner's there, and she's like, "Oh, does anybody have any questions?" And so, like, I said, "Oh, I got a question."
Yeah.
And so I asked it, and you know, it was like, "Oh, you know, it's fully funded, you know, as long as the law's in place." And we know laws change, right? And so, like, if the law was to change, you know, we would have to come back to the table to talk about: are we able to continue to do these services? You know, whether it's a per pupil cost that they're giving us or something along those lines, right? You know, the funny thing about that was, you know, maybe a week later I got a call from the DOE saying that we needed to meet, and Justin joked that it was because I asked that question during that meeting. But the reality is that, you know, there are kiddos and we need to do the best we can to support them. And here's an opportunity to have something that's fully funded. We have to do it by law. And, you know, I'm hopeful. I mean, I know hope really isn't much of a strategy, but that they continue to fund it because it's important work.
Well, if you look at, I mean, you mentioned Maine's the last state to absorb CDS or 3 and 4 year olds. If you look at the outcomes, even in Massachusetts, Tennessee, they were early adopters, and their special ed numbers from pre-K to kindergarten look significantly different because the kids are getting kind of accurate support, whereas, and I can speak for myself as a kid, as a mom who had CDS for speech for her 3-year-old, what he got as a 3-year-old looked very different than when he came as a 5-year-old and was able to graduate speech in 6 months because it was a very different level of service. And there, if you read the news, there's a lot of parents that have been complaining about kind of the wraparound services that CDS offers. So by having it in the school, it could actually make it a lot better. So the evidence points to this being a really good thing for our community. That's just my 2 cents.
Yep.
Early intervention is the key to helping these kiddos, and I'm glad Maine is finally stepping up to the plate. Lastly, but glad they are. I'm just wondering if we have 2 classrooms of pre-K. I'm wondering how many kids are currently enrolled in pre-K that are not including these 16 minus 3 that are. Do we need another classroom?
I don't think so. So if you look at the students with speech, I mean, some of those students are just going to be coming in to receive or developing a plan to receive speech services. So they may or may not be in our pre-K. There's the students that are placed already, and I just feel pretty comfortable we'll be able to absorb them now. If we were to, like, down the road look at a specialized program, if we had a pocket of kids with, significant needs and we felt like we needed to develop our own program, we definitely would have to look at more space. But I feel like we're in a good spot right now.
I was going to say also, Teresa, don't forget their 2 classrooms and their half-day programs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah.
4 sessions. Yeah.
I guess I would have felt better with, hearing, our enrollment is here, so we can actually absorb these kids and have a good small.
pre-K numbers, yeah, I don't know the regular education side of pre-K numbers off the top of my head.
Yeah,
but
sorry, I don't
yeah,
either.
Sorry.
I think Shelley's
We can
looking
get
that up
that,
at the
though.
moment.
Oh, thanks, Shelley.
Shelley's hooking us up. Yeah.
Thanks, Shelley.
She's gonna try anyway. While she's looking that up, go ahead. Were you all set, Teresa? Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Robbie.
So these 16 students that we're going to be picking up 3 and 4-year-old, 4-year-olds this year, 3-year-olds next year, do you think maybe from word of mouth when more people figure out that we have these services that it's going to grow?
Yeah, I think so. And I think one of the roles of the coordinator position is to kind of market that a little bit, that, hey, we want your kids to, join our pre-K program, provide those services within our school. So yeah, I do think that it will grow. a
So I
little
guess
bit,
the space question is going to definitely come in.
yeah. I mean, really though, we're only dealing with students with IEPs, so
Right.
if that number would
Right.
increase,
so
then
it's
we'd have to
a
look at
limited
it.
number of,
Yeah.
yeah. And my other question would be transportation. I know there's a big difference between a 3-year-old getting on a school bus and a 4 or 5-year-old getting on the
Yeah,
school bus.
right.
So
Yeah.
are we looking at maybe an alternative?
Yes, that would, and I probably should have included under that under related services, but we would need to look at whether some of the students that we take on need transportation services,
Right.
like we do now. And so
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I see some of these little guys getting on the bus and
yeah.
they can barely climb the stairs
Right.
at 4, let alone
Yeah.
3.
I mean, the number, no, you're right. The numbers are such that I think we could use the folks we use for special transportation
Right.
now and get them
Okay.
to
But they
school.
would, their services would fall underneath that.
Yeah,
special ed
if transportation was on their IEP,
Okay,
which it
that's
is a
what I
lot of
thought. I
times, we'd
just
have to.
wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, good
Yeah.
question.
But the
All right.
funding for that would not necessarily, it doesn't fall in under this, correct?
So it would, that if any service that's on an IEP, and that's why I said I should have put transportation on there, that would be funded through this as well, if that makes sense. If it's on their plan, it's funded.
I'm going to ask another question.
Sure.
If we kick this off right away for 25, 26, is that fully funded or not until 27, 28 when it's required?
It's fully funded for the foreseeable future, unless they change the law.
So right now,
Yeah.
if you were to kick it off this year,
Yeah.
it would be funded.
Yep, it would be. Yep, the first payment is immediate, and we get the rest of the money quarterly based on the number of kids that need services. We also asked the question just to kind of maybe ease your mind a little bit about the funding, maybe not, but there's some of these outplacements are quite expensive, and so we were like, okay, so what if our funding doesn't cover that? Because we pay for that out of our funding, but they point blank told us that they would reimburse us for that. So if our outplace costs were high, we would get funding for that if it goes over the amount that we were given.
And
If that makes
was
sense.
One of the advantages of the new addition, we were going to have a lot more in-house and maybe even be able to take some out-of-district
That's right.
students in to,
That's right. To get some revenue.
get some revenue. Yeah.
And I mean, it was something that Justin mentioned a few minutes ago. It's just like, looking at collaborating with other school districts. If we have a space that we can provide a program, that is potential revenue for the school district. Shelley, did you want to chime in on those numbers?
I do. May not be 100% accurate, but right now it looks like a count of 46 students in pre-K, and I believe their limit for a session is 16. It's either 14 or 16. I think it's 16.
Yeah,
So there's plenty of room.
Yeah,
Just
they're under that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shelley.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I ask one more question? And
Sure.
if I'm getting in the weeds, just say that and I won't ask anymore. But would the district be identifying, would we be doing all of the evaluations?
Yeah, we take over that
And
whole
we-
piece of it. Yep.
We hired a psychologist
Yep.
that can do that.
Yep, we have someone on staff that could do
Okay.
that. You know, obviously we'd have to look at how many we're talking. Right now, there's only 2 students
Right.
that are in that process, so that would easily be absorbed. But if it got larger and we needed a contract with somebody, again, that's covered.
And typically, a lot of 4-year-olds are not identified until they come to pre-K, because that's their first
Right.
experience with any sort of public education. So even though they're 16, we've got 46 pre-Kers. I don't know how many of those 46 have ever been in a traditional education setting. So we can anticipate that 16 is going to go up.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the early childhood special ed teacher / coordinator, is that one position, or are you thinking it would be 2?
I think it's one position to start out. You know, and as we take on the 3-year-olds, we'll have to look at whether or not maybe we need another special educator on staff, just a teaching role.
And like
So-
282. So
Yep,
certificate.
282, and then for this role, we'd also look for some administrative certification if possible.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Diane.
Are we thinking BHPs as well?
Yeah, I mean, ed techs, obviously they would need some training, like you're indicating, behavioral health professionals. I had a meeting this week with our BCBAs to let them know that we were, you know, taking this on, and they were pretty excited because they could give us some support. We contracted the board certified behavior analyst who I think could support some of our kids if we needed to.
All right. Any other questions for Justin? All right. Thank
All
you,
right,
Justin.
thanks, everybody.
Moving on to our new business, 8.1, to approve the professional staff hired this summer.
So moved.
Second.
Do I need to name them all?
No.
Thank you, because I probably will mess up some
I was
names.
gonna say I was kind of hoping to hear you try to
I-
pronounce
yeah,
all the
I-
names,
yeah.
Nicole.
I thought some of these were already approved. Yeah, thought so.
You think they're already approved?
Some of them
Maybe a
were.
couple of them, yeah.
Like the first 3, I think, were. But
Yeah.
that's okay. We can
That's
just do a
okay.
slate.
You can do it all.
All right. Any discussion on the group of professional staff hired this summer? All those in favor? All set. Thank you. 8.2, to elect Stephanie Weber as the Director of Technology as recommended by the Superintendent.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? And Stephanie is not here this evening, right?
No, she's not. No. She's coming over from Auburn Public Schools. She was essentially the assistant technology director for Auburn School Department. And so we're lucky to have her. She's extremely talented, has a lot to offer us. So we're happy to have her aboard.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? All right, 8.3, to approve the district comprehensive emergency management plan as required by the board annually.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Robbie?
Marco, has like the fire and police of the communities looked at our plan again?
So they're not required necessarily to look at our plan annually, Robbie. I mean, they're part of our like safety committee,
Sure.
right?
Okay.
And so Sean and I are we have a meeting scheduled for September. Is that right? Is it September, Sean? Yeah, for September to put that committee together and get it up and running. We've had the opportunity to meet quite a few people. Mike Sherman, in particular, over in Litchfield. He's the chief of the fire department over there. And so he's been great. We talked to him this week about joining that committee. And so, we'll kind of go from there and talk about the plan and some of our procedures and just get feedback from them more than anything else. As Nicole said, this is an annual thing. Sean and I have gone through that district emergency plan. It's kind of like the first time I've had the chance to look at it, from the superintendent's role, just because if you guys remember, there's like 3 levels to it. There's like a district office, school-based, and then there's a public version that people can see. And it's pretty intensive. There's a lot to it. But then there's subsections for each of the schools. And, so we went through those. And essentially, the only changes that we've made for this year is to remove Sabattis Primary School from that book. But then also to update contact information. That seems to be the biggest one, where it's like, you're looking at some of these documents, and they have people who are no longer with us, and their phone numbers are outdated or whatnot. And so we've done a good job in updating those. Just as an aside, Robbie, since we're talking about this, is we'll continue with the ALICE training as we do every year. Michaela and I have dates to do that with the entirety of the district. We'll do that again, including central office. And a big focus for me this year is the reunification plans. Like, that's one that I really like. I don't want to say have heartache over, but it's more about like wanting to make sure that the people that are in the reunification process understand their role and have a chance to practice it. I just don't feel like we've done a fair amount of that in the school district, and I just think it's a really important piece, because there have been times where, as a high school principal, we had to evacuate Oak Hill High School. And I'm thinking it's probably just because at the time we weren't on town water, and so we ran out of water, and so we still wanted to, or heat or something along those lines. And basically we packed everybody up and went over to the middle school. They were gracious enough to take us in, for the remainder of the day, which was actually really helpful, because we were able to focus on, getting some support to students, directly, because it was just a little bit different environment and what we were doing with them. So, with all that being said, that's a big focus for me this year, is to make sure that all of that is very clear. And the nice thing is we do have a student resource officer, Connor Pinkham, who's going to be starting with us, and he'll give us some feedback too. So I think we're in a good spot to really make sure that we've got things ironed out nicely. I mean, the document's in good shape. Things, are accurate, with the exception of the directory information and the removal of Sabattis Primary School. But there's always that, like, all right, how can we prepare even better or even more to make sure that we're covering as much as we can.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Further discussion, questions, comments? All right. All those in favor? All set. Thank you. 8.4, to approve that the computation and declaration of votes dated and attached here to be, and it is hereby approved, and further that the computation and declaration of votes be entered upon the records of Regional School Unit Number 4, and further that a certified copy of the computation and declaration of votes be sent to each of the municipal clerks with the regional school with the regional school unit. Sorry.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. This is the votes for our budget to be entered into, approved for public record, or finalized. And there they
I've
are.
got the paper
So
right here. Yep.
all those in favor? All right, unanimous. We will need your signature before you leave this evening. And that brings us to our next item would be board member comments. Go ahead, Diane. Oh, Robbie, you'll be next.
Oh, I just want to say, I went to many interviews this summer, and we had some wonderful candidates. And I'm excited to see them in action and to hear comments from kids and other teachers. I think we're set up for a very good year. I'm excited.
Okay, good. Thanks, Diane. Robbie?
I'd like to thank all the retirees that are on the list that we had. We appreciate every one of them, but I would like to recognize Norma Jean for her longevity here in starting out a program that was non-existent when she started it. But the simple fact is that she's got it off the ground and has grown to where it is today because of her. And I remember as a student running Cat 5 wire on school vacations and holidays up in the ceilings to help out Mr. Fuller at the time, because he went around and asked people to help run wire, and that was the start of technology at Oak Hill. So anyway, it's come a long ways, and I know during COVID we were up and running in no time at all when a lot of districts were not, and we were ahead of the ball there.
Yeah.
So it made a big difference for us, and I really appreciate her efforts.
Thank you, Robbie.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right, then I'll go. Obviously, thank you for voting me as your chairperson. I take this honor very seriously, and I appreciate your faith in me. I look forward to this year with Marco, working very closely with him. And I'm going to have homework for you guys soon. Right? You should have received the evaluation, the board evaluation from last year. So I did want you to have that in your pockets so that when we get started, it may even be next meeting, I believe. We need to talk about our goals. So, what do we want to achieve this year? You can go ahead, Robbie, but
Well,
you don't have to answer today.
No, I know. Just a reminder, though, superintendent evaluations, we usually start in October.
Mm-hmm.
And I know in the past, first-year superintendents, it's more or less, did the schools get up and running the way they should? Did we hire enough people? You know what I mean? So there's really not a lot to that first evaluation. So I know it's probably going to be a abbreviated evaluation.
I think we're just gonna go all in.
Right.
We're going
Yeah,
all in.
everything?
Everything.
Yes, thanks, Robbie. We
Thanks,
will be
Robbie.
working through the superintendent evaluation as well.
Yeah.
We'll probably, we'll try to do the board one too, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit sooner, or have that up and running so that we can get that out, and see how we're doing maybe mid-year and pivot as needed. Go ahead, Teresa.
Can I get a copy of last year's goals for the board?
Yes,
Okay.
we did. We did. It was focused on the budget.
Okay.
Okay.
Just a starting point.
Yes. And I would also encourage everybody to look at the what do we call it? RSU, Regional School Unit, strategic plan, and your board policies, which Marco did provide us with some good cheat sheets and stuff. He did that all on his own, I will say. So he said, "Hey, Nicole, I got this stuff." I said, "That's wonderful. I love it already." But I will be giving you guys homework to come with your ideas on what you want for our 25-26 board goals, and not to, go too far ahead, but along the lines with what Robbie was talking about. We will be doing the superintendent evaluation, and you will come with your goals from Marco as well. What we want to do, what we want to achieve together. Other than that, thank you for coming tonight. I know it's still summer, even though it doesn't feel like it too much, and we haven't started school yet, but we're getting there next week. I already warned my kids. It's starting. I can't wait because they are home with me. Hopefully we don't have a heat wave again like we normally do. So that's looking pretty good. And anything else? We're gonna call the meeting adjourned. 7:28 p.m. Thank you.
Don't forget to sign this
Yeah.
declaration here.